We are ready for our next speaker, and for this one, I'd like to bring on Mike to tell you all about the future of AI having crypto wallets. Please give him a big round of applause.
Thanks, Kartik. Hi, everyone. My name is Mike. I'm co-founder at Superfluid Protocol. It's the streaming asset protocol where you earn every second. Today, I'm here to talk about why a wallet is a game changer for AI. And I promise you, I'm not going to be very high level. It's going to be a very down to the bottom technical pragmatic talk. So if you are a builder or if you are working in a blockchain Web3 company, you'll probably take in some insights from the call. Now, just a show of hands before I start. Can you raise your hand if you've been using AI to search the web this week or the last week? Awesome, nice, almost everybody. And how about learning about a new project in crypto? Right. And what about building an application? Okay, a lot of developers in here, or maybe not. We don't need them anymore. So, no, I'm joking, come on. So the reason I'm on stage today is because we are entering an era where the dominant users of software are not humans anymore. They are agents. And they will be driven by our intents, driven by our management, but we will probably not interact with software as we do today. So today, agents are already pretty smart. They can do a lot of things. They can reason, plan. They can take action based on your desires. They can execute fairly complex workflows. And they can make a lot of autonomous decisions, right? But it's not enough, right? So what's missing for true agency? Like, what is giving an agent that full ability to take initiative by itself? Well, definitely ownership. So an agent is not able to own itself or to own a lot of assets. There is a lot of issue with access to capital. So an agent cannot raise funds easily today. It cannot have a lot of financial services available. The banks are not very happy to just provide a lot of capital to software today. And at the same time, they just miss a coordination layer where they can talk to one another and then take action in a swarm fashion. The swarms we have today are fairly rudimental. And that's where crypto comes in. So if you give an agent a wallet, it can freely transact on-chain. It can also own assets. Think about NFTs, think about credentials to use software, etc. It can also hire people, hire other agents, hire service providers. And it can make decisions on governance of protocols, like, for example, governing a DAO via voting on-chain. It can coordinate at scale with humans and other agents, including with institutions. Because at the end of the day, every company is just a group of humans working together. So with blockchain, AIs, or AI agents, are an economic actor. We are entering a world where agents are going to take decisions and shape our economy together with us. The good news is that we get to manage them. Let's see for how long. But for the time being, we can still coordinate their action ourselves. We can monitor them, we can instruct them, we can understand their intents. So a wallet truly is the difference between an assistant agent and an entrepreneur agent. So imagine, in a while, having companies run by AI agents, or having conferences designed, run, and optimized by AI agents, right? We've already seen a lot of DeFi plays where a lot of venture capital and investors have been using agents to optimize DeFi strategies, for example. They attribute them some capital, they let them try to increase the capital, and they let them try to experiment, right? Try to optimize the return on investment. So I want to make it very tangible for you. Can you raise your hand if you ever voted in a DAO or if you own any tokens that would allow you to vote? OK. So here are two delegates for you to choose. You can either choose Mark or Laura. Which one would you go for? Hands up who's going to go with Mark. Who's going to go with Laura? Pretty obvious choice, right? Yes, because Laura is on the spot. She's always working 24/7, representing your interests, is informed on everything that relates to the DAO, is up to speed with the product itself, is up to speed with competitors, with the narratives on Twitter, right? She knows everything, basically, and she's tailored to represent you uniquely with your own set of values and your interests. So this is already emerging. It is not in the future anymore. It's here today, right? People are using AI, and especially agents, to summarize DAO proposals. And then they are using them to understand how they can swing the vote in their interest, right? You can imagine a lot of the VC investors in the space, they have quite a lot of vested interest in the DAOs taking specific decisions that benefit their portfolio, right? So this is already in place today. Now, we accidentally built the perfect operating system for autonomous agents. It almost feels like AI came from the future to give us Bitcoin so that we could build an infrastructure for the agents themselves to interact and transact with one another. So if you look at, for example, Ethereum, let's say, it's clearly machine-readable, is software, is open source, is transparent. It enforces the rules, so you cannot game a smart contract once it's deployed on chain. Is deterministic, is permissionless, and it has basically scriptable interactions where if A, then B, right? There is a lot of open interfaces and APIs that are available so that the rules are composable. I can say if A, then B, and then if C, then D, and then if B and D happen, then do X, right? So we have full composability, and now we can build an economy with that. The other thing missing is reputation. If you have agents operating in autonomy, then how can you measure their quality, right? And because, well, all transactions on blockchain technologies are auditable and transparent, then you have a built-in reputation system. I can tell if an agent is being operating in the way I want it to or not. So I can actually make decisions with that. So I asked ChatGPT, what's the volume we're doing today in the traditional markets? And if you, the audio is not going to play, but basically ChatGPT has said to me, and I verified this, 60 to 80% of the volume on traditional financial market is algo trading. Humans are in for the 20 to 40% today in traditional financial markets. So it's already happening in traditional finance. It's obviously going to happen in crypto, and it's going to happen real fast. In fact, there's a lot of algo trading which is not AI-driven today in the crypto market. So I'm here to tell you that the next wave of protocol users are AI agents and not people. This means we have been optimizing for the wrong users because we have been first optimizing for developers, and then we've been optimizing for human users. And crypto, if you know Solidity, is not really intended for humans. Is more intended for machines to understand what's going on. And it really feels tailored to some software users. So let's look at how protocols are built today. I built Superfluid together with my co-founders, and I can tell you that we've been tailoring it to human needs at the moment. So we thought about what do people need, and also we need a UI that you guys can use to stream tokens on-chain. So we built our own UI, and then we have made some incentives that are appealing to you to go and use this protocol to move funds so that you can earn every second. We also created an experience around the fact you guys sleep at night, and you only have so much energy, and it takes a while to click around the UI. And we had to cover for a bunch of errors that we do, fat finger typing, all of that. We don't want you to send 10,000 times what you intend to send. So there's a lot of experience around human error as well. And at the same time, we have a lot of emotions at play. So pump.fun on Solana is exploiting these emotions on the rush, the FOMO, and so on. So we have a lot of emotions baked into protocols today. However, agents are quite different. They are always on, 24/7. They can scale instantly. Why? Because they can hire resources. DPN offers them as much GPU, CPU, or storage they can afford to buy or rent. They are very rational, differently from us, right? Their code, they tend to be very, very logical. Also, they respond to incentives very differently than we do. And we have seen that they seek predictability, reliability, and low latency. So the question we have now, if we really want to succeed in the Web3 of tomorrow, is how does an agent choose your protocol or my protocol? It's a very different choice than a human. So welcome to agent experience. It's a concept that emerged a few times, but nobody really took the time to define it clearly as an operator in the crypto industry. So I went on and tried to dissect it. Now, how do we define agent experience? It's basically all of the interactions, perceptions, and outcomes that an autonomous software agent has while discovering, evaluating, and executing actions on a digital system or protocol, including the ability to parse reason and optimize for its own goals. This means that when you design with agent experience in mind, you optimize for different things than humans. First of all, you have legibility. I, as an agent, will need to understand your code. I want to break it down into small problems because I'm not AGI yet, so I want a modular approach. I want your docs to be clear, structured, and easy to parse in a machine-readable format. I want interfaces to stay the same, or I want to be told if they change, so I don't have surprises, right? I don't want to spend my computing resources to just try and fail many times using your protocol, so I want a low latency. I don't want to wait for ages to get a response on my query, and so speed is very important. I also want to be able to understand intents of other agents or human users. I definitely care about composability. Can I take the output of a protocol or another agent and feed it as input to what I want to do, and vice versa? I want it to be predictable and also economically interesting for me. So I want deterministic rewards that are not going to change and I can predict for and plan for in a financial plan that I have for my own. And I don't want some sort of opinionated interpretation because I can't predict for that. So it's really changing the way that we design systems and protocols. And also, I want some sort of deep auditability because the chain allows me to tell how things went and what the outcome was. So I basically want to make sure that I use that for logs of events and also for building my own and evaluating others' reputation. So it's a very, very different game that we're used to, and it's really going to change the way we shape also our companies. The entire funnel, from user acquisition all the way down to retention of the users, we're going to have to think about agents. Now, to give you a very tangible example, at Superfluid, we manage real-time value transfer on-chain. And when a user thinks of a one-off transaction or a one-off value transfer, normally is like, I paid you or not, simple. In the case of agents, it's going to be very similar. So it's an instant transaction. Either I did it or I didn't, 1 or 0. But when it comes to recurring value transfer or repeated value, then we like to think in months. Subscription on Netflix, once a month, right? Your salary, once a month, sometimes every 2 weeks. Agents, they don't have the concept of time. What is the right subscription period for an agent? They love to think in terms of ones and zeros. So from what is a repeated value transfer, we have now an ongoing stream. I am paying you. I have access. I am not paying you. I don't have access. It's really a real-time relationship. So in this case, imagine like a live feed. Do I, as an agent, have access to that? Am I subscribed to that? If I am paying, I do. I don't want to keep a history of transactions for an arbitrary period of time humans imposed on me, the month, let's say. Okay? So agents really think in terms of ones and zeros, and that's why repeated value transfers for agents is a stream. Now, yeah, this is exactly what it says. So you go from have I paid for the current period to am I paying or not. So many protocols will thrive with agent users by being tailored to machines. Unfortunately, today I cannot go much deeper and unpack this with you in detail. So I actually put together an article on Twitter, X, that you can check out scanning that QR code. And because we don't have time for a Q&A, please drop any comments you have on my talk there, and we'll take the conversation online. So thank you very much for staying with me along this journey today, and reach out to me on the same Twitter link anytime. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mike. We actually do have a few minutes, so if anybody has questions, please just raise your hand. We'll kind of do them. If not, I have a couple questions from just the slides. So does anybody have any questions about wallets and agents? I'll give my mic to you so you can say it out loud.
Hi. I have a question about the agent-to-agent protocols, because in Web 2 there are already not protocols between each other, but just connecting. So do you have insights about agent-to-agent?
Yeah, I mean, have you heard about things called agent swarm? Yes, right. So basically, sometimes you have a master agent that has access to other agents to do specific tasks. Now, I don't remember the name of the VC fund, but someone has created an agent that then leverages other agents to do actions on DeFi. And one of the smart things that they did is they created an agent to work with a specific protocol. Let's say Aave for DeFi. And that agent has the ability to work on Aave. And he needs to transact incentives tokens to other agents that are using other lending protocol to maximize the value of the ROI. So now they are paying each other with a currency that is just for the two agents to basically determine which one is the most efficient. Now, luckily, this is kind of closed loop for now, so it's not out there in the economy. But we can really envision a world where I'm going to literally pay for access to that agent over time. So luckily, we are in the early days, and we have a lot to build. But yeah.
All right. So my question is, who do you think has come the closest to doing something like this thing right now in the Web3 world? Are you seeing really cool experiments, or are they just kind of prototypes, but they're not actually trying to make it a real thing?
I think it's very early days. So what we are seeing is there's a lot of startups right now or companies that are building the communication layer between agents so that they can talk to each other. They understand the intents and the outcomes. There are other startups that are building directly useful execution layer agents, so maximize my portfolio value, let's say. Most of these experiments and thought pieces are coming from the VC space. So if you look at some of the leading Web3 venture capital funds blogs, you will find a lot of golden nuggets in there. But yeah, there's a lot. Basically, the answer is no. Nobody has built the whole stack. I have seen a lot this week that is at pre-seed stage.
That means there's a lot of opportunity, and there's an infinite garden of room to grow. So, well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Please give him a big round of applause.
Thank you, Carter.